Title: The Foundation's Secret. In the quiet town of Woodridge, nestled between vast, whispering woods, a peculiar atmosphere shrouded the area. The townsfolk, long accustomed to shadows and unexplained happenings, often spoke of the tales that had trickled past their front porches. Yet, one tale sparkled with an eerie allure, calling to the curious hearts of youth like a faint glow in the dark. It revolved around the enigmatic organization known as the SCP Foundation. Katie, a spirited 16-year-old with unmatched curiosity, was particularly drawn to the stories. For months, she believed the Foundation was just the imaginative concoction of bored old minds until she stumbled upon an old file hidden in her late grandfather's belongings. Brimming with intrigue, it detailed startling accounts of strange entities contained by the Foundation. Each tale was richer than the last, but the most gripping was about SCP-701, a play titled The Ending, said to drive its audiences mad. As the leaves turned crimson and the air grew colder, Katie decided to research more about the ominous play. What if she could witness it herself? Late into the night, she scoured hidden forums and stumbled across a dark web link that promised a live performance of The Ending. Unbeknownst to her, each click brought her closer to unraveling a sinister truth. The evening of the performance arrived, and curiosity had transformed into a daring resolve. With her friend Mark by her side, they ventured to an abandoned theater, rumored to be the very location SCP-701 had been contained. The building loomed before them, a decrepit giant with overgrown vines clutching its walls, windows boarded up as if trying to conceal the horror within. "Is this really the right place?" Mark asked, peering into the shadows that cloaked the theater. "Only one way to find out," Katie replied, her heart racing as they pushed the rusty door open. It creaked ominously, sounding like the building itself groaned to let them in. Inside, the scent of decay clung to the air. A flickering chandelier lit the main stage, where a small group had gathered. Eyes wide with excitement and fear, they shuffled awkwardly, eager yet apprehensive. A set of tattered curtains hung before them. Moments later, the dim lights flickered ominously before revealing a stark stage, adorned with the unsettling title, The Ending. A chill raced down Katie's spine, yet she found herself unable to look away. The performance was brief, consisting of hauntingly beautiful dialogues interwoven with inexplicable shadows that seemed to dance beyond the stage, whispering fears into the depths of her mind. Mid-performance, the atmosphere shifted. The actors wore expressions twisted in terror, their voices echoing with unrestrained panic. One by one, they turned, their gaze fixated intently on the audience. It dawned on Katie that they were not performing, they were pleading for help. Panic seized the room as a low growl reverberated through the walls, shaking the very ground beneath their feet. "I can't take this," shouted a girl 2 rows behind. She stumbled back, eyes glassy, before fleeing into the darkness of the theater. A feeling of dread lingered in the air, thickening with every passing moment. It was then that Katie noticed the curtains shaking violently, as if something was pressing against them from behind. A deep voice echoed, reverberating through the very bone of the theater, "You shouldn't have come." Frightened gasps filled the air as the lights flickered out, plunging them into darkness. The fear escalated when a blood-curdling howl pierced through, and one by one, the audience began to scream, unsure of what was real and what was a mere trick of the mind. "Mark, we need to get out of here," Katie screamed, her pulse racing as she clutched his hand. "What about the others?" he asked frantically, looking around as chaos erupted. The audience was losing control, some clawing at their heads as if battling demons within. "I don't think we can help them," she yelled. With a surge of adrenaline, they bolted towards the nearest exit. The sounds of hysteria chased after them, a nightmarish echo of their own rising panic. Barely making it outside, the chilling night air greeted them like a breath of salvation. But as they sprinted away, hearts pounding, they could hear faint whispers threading through the wind. "You are now part of the play. You cannot escape." Days bled into weeks, but the nightmares never left Katie. Each night she was plagued by visions of the theater, the maddening voices creeping under her skin. Mark, too, was haunted, his eyes glazed with fear. One gloomy evening, the two gathered, shivering as they relived their harrowing experience. And as they spoke, a realization washed over them. They had unwittingly become subjects of the SCP Foundation, Something had seeped into their minds during that cursed performance, binding them to its darkness forever. Katie gazed out into the woods, fear intertwining with the dawning horror of the truth. Perhaps Woodridge was more than an innocent town. Perhaps it was just a facade for something far more sinister. The play they witnessed was a warning. They remained unwitting actors on a stage set by a foundation that watched, always watching, ready to trap any curious soul who dared tread too close to their secrets. Before long, the darkness wouldn't just be a creeping shadow, but a living entity, and one day, as she peered into the forest, she could swear she saw the ill-fated flicker of the dying stage lights, beckoning her back.